Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Face Building Podcast with your amazing hosts,
Vladi Kuna and
Norman Gräter. And today we are in for a journey, I want to say, because it's all about decluttering your life and your daily routines and whatever you might have. And this is totally Vladi's topic. So why don't you bring us into the topic, Vladi?
this is like my zone. I love decluttering. I'm still called a decluttering queen. I love the word because everybody needs order in life. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking about work, personal life, love life, money. If you have order, and Thomas Troward used to say, order is heaven's first law. That's the way. It means that if there is an order, think about you, the cells and everything in your body works in perfect order. And I remember Bruce Lipton when I went to his live event, and I'll just quickly touch on the topic because there is such a good description to start this. He said, think about your cells in your brain, in your neck, in your body, in your knees and elbows. They are exactly performing the function they were created to be because they're in perfect order. And if the cells in a knee looked up to the head and said, well, I don't like it down here, I want to go up there, because the cells in head have a higher priority over us. Like, they don't function that way. He said they know they need to be exactly where they are to perform the function so the human body actually is what it is. And I thought about that quite a while when after the event. That is such a great analogy because it is perfect order. Universe works in perfect order. And everything really works in perfect order. And we are here just to discover ourselves and the way we can perform better. We can become better and higher version of ourselves. We can produce more results in whichever way we like. We can learn what does it really mean to love and also to create success. It really comes down to one thing. It's order is heaven's first law. But how do you create order? You declutter, you let go, you surrender. I will actually hand it back to Norm because when we studied both with Bob Proctor, his favorite law, or he used to actually use it a lot, was vacuum law of prosperity. And vacuum law of prosperity is really great because if you don't make space for something new, you can't actually welcome it. We all would love something, but unless you get rid of what is in your life, the stuff that's not serving you, the everything that's in your life, even sofa. And I'll hand it back to Norman. He will tell you the story about the sofa because it really is fascinating law. And that is how the decluttering starts. And then I can tell you about decluttering in a minute.
Yeah, it's so true, Vladi. The easiest description or the easiest picture I always received from this example is if you have something in each and every hand, but you want to grab something new, you just cannot do that. As long as you hold on to the old thing, you really cannot grab something new. And coming now into the early days of 2025, we want to have a look at the magic of time. Because time is so precious and we should live more in the now, what we already spoke about. And this means we need to let go of all things, of habits, of maybe addictions, of drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, whatever it might be, which does not suit our true self, that we can shine, that we can be fascinated and be just magnificent. If we still have some old identity things, we need to let it go. Because like you said, we need to create a vacuum for the new thing. And I heard this from one of my mentors many years ago when I complained and said, oh, back then my account was empty. He said, that's a good thing. You made space for the new stuff to come. And I thought, oh, that's an interesting approach. I never saw it like that, that I make space for something new to come. And again, it's all about perception and your perspective onto it. Do you focus on the lack or do you focus on now I've made space that money can come, that health can come, that whatever, success can come, whatever you want to have. And this is why today we speak about decluttering and letting go. And I know Vladi is doing this all the time, me as well, going through the wardrobe, going through the closet and just throwing out stuff that you did not use. Because honestly, how many things do we have and keep because we think one day I might need that again. And then after 5 years, you look at it again and you think, one day, I might need it. It's still good. Yeah, but if you don't use it on a daily basis, if you don't like jumping into those pants or socks or into the sweatshirt, keep it for what? It just keeps your energy. It fills your cabinet. It just holds space for something new that could come. And going into the new year, the question is, what's your new identity, the decluttered version of yourself, where you say, I left so much in 2024. How do I want to approach 2025 with an open heart, with a clear mind, with a changed routine? Because we all know if you're stuck in a routine and it's just boring, this is not inspiring. It might help you, you do it every day, but you do it uninspired, and therefore you send out not the best possible energy while you do it. And that we want to change. And therefore, decluttering is the key.
Yeah, I love that. And I love what you're saying. And everything is so true that we focus on things we would love, but we don't focus on being grateful for the things we have already. Let go of what we don't need, and then allow the new space. And I love that Norman said your new personality. And we did touch upon the personality. We said we will talk about the personality and the decluttering, because really it's like the old model, like creating the space, make it obsolete and replace it with a new one. But it's like buying a sofa. If you decided, your sofa is old and you need to get rid of it and buy a new one, this is a really good analogy, because if you purchase a new one, you're going to have to remove the old one. They don't deliver the new one and you don't put it on the top of it, right? So actually allowing a space, and then when you move it out, you're making it the next decision. Are we keeping it at the same place? Are we going to maybe shuffle things around and change the room and move the energy? Because everything is movement. So is mind. Mind is a movement. And really letting go. I really do think that's the possibly hardest, and I'm going to say the word hardest lovingly, but people are clinging to things for emotional things. Sometimes they say, and I love Norman's analogy of and this I'm going to challenge ladies, because I know how many things I went over the years, new dresses and stuff, and sometimes they no longer fit, or, and say, I'm going to keep them because I will go back into them. And we keep making these promises like 2 years in a row, and they still there hanging there. But really look at the things and say, have I worn this year at all? Do I love wearing it? Do I feel really good in it? So I put it on and I feel, yes, I actually feel really good in it. From now on, I really just pay attention to how I feel in the clothes, because you can always fit back into the clothes if you want to. It's got nothing to do with it, but we are just holding on to it for hope. And I'm going to say this, wishful thinking. It's the wishful thinking that I wish that will be serving me, and it doesn't. What are the habits you have? And Norman touched upon it. So how do you declutter? Decluttering your space. Decluttering the space you live in is really important for your body, because it's like in the morning, if you see the clutter around yourself, and if there's mess everywhere, and we all have sometimes mess, so don't feel bad, guys, because we all come days where you look in the house and you say, okay, I can't invite anyone into my home now. But genuinely, if you are living continuously in the space that is cluttered and messy, your mind will make the clutter. It is the mindset as well. Whether we like it or not, it creates, because then we make decisions. And if you have a messy environment and you don't mind working in it, there might be a messy work environment, messy stuff, and you will actually find that your mindset is a mess as well. I don't like the word mess genuinely because of who I am. I do like order. I do actually like, but there is a mess. But there is a mess and a mess. And in a psychological way, I like to look at, you cannot declutter. Let's say you decide to declutter your home, which is the same with your thinking, because we're here to help you with your thoughts. But you can't declutter your mind in a week. It doesn't work like that. If I tell you, let's spend 24 hours in your home and declutter the house, it is impossible. It is physically impossible to declutter the home. So what you do is create actionable steps, small actionable steps for every day that are very consistent. If you declutter 2 cupboards today, and then 2 tomorrow, and 2 the day after, within 2 months, you actually will realize that you went through the whole home. and you have achieved much more than making a decision when I have time, I will start decluttering. You should start decluttering now, whether it's your computer, because your computer gets cluttered as well. Your phone gets cluttered. If you don't clear space on your phone, you know all that your space runs out, your battery runs down, your body gets cluttered. If you keep eating not a healthy food, drinking alcohol, not healthy, but if you have a drink now and then, it's probably fine. But if you're drinking every single day consistently, it will affect your body. It's the same with the way you eat, the way you exercise, the way you think, the way you feel. Everything in our life will clutter up unless we find the balance. So decluttering really is letting go. And it's letting go of things that don't serve you. Foods, emotions, thinking, people in your life. We can actually, that's why we're here. We're not really here for you to declutter your home, but it starts with the environment. However, it's who are the people you surrounded yourself. If you want to create success in your life, you really have to surround yourself with people who support you, who are there for you, who help you, who are accountable to you, who always tell you that you can do it, even if you sometimes feel that maybe I don't believe myself, but you have those people who's like, yes, go for it, instead of, oh, you shouldn't do that. So really looking that, and I'll hand it back to Norm, but really decluttering is not just your space. Environment is really important. So it will allow you to work more efficiently if you have things in order, whether it's your phone, whether it's your health, whether it's your food, everything. But really letting go, it is challenging because we have to let go, and we are habitual creatures. We don't like letting go of things. We think that, sometimes we just look at outside world and say, oh, why I can't do anything about this because this is what's happening in the world, but it isn't. It's all down to you to create your own world. And Norman can speak on the world.
It's so true. Because we are all collectors. While I was listening to you, I thought, yes, we come, and maybe it's not our generation, but it was our parents' generation, and of course the generation before. In Germany, we were at war, the generation before my parents, the grandparents. And of course, after war, you have to inherit everything that you have that you can find. You want to own it, you want to have it, you want to keep it safe, that nobody can take it away. And nowadays, you can have Netflix and Sky and whatever the channels are, Paramount Plus, but you don't own the stuff. You pay every month a fee, and if you stop paying, you own nothing. And this felt strange in the beginning, at least for me, where I thought, yeah, I pay, but I don't have it. Mm-hmm. On the other side, all the old CDs and DVDs I have it, but I don't use it. It just takes away space. It collects dust. It makes no sense at all. So like Vladi shared this amazing advice, do something every day. Declutter a little thing every day. I'm very good on my laptop with doing that. So whenever I download files or even in my email inbox, I put it into folders the moment I worked on it, or it's unimportant, I delete it right away. I only collect the ones in my inbox where I still need to work something on, that I have it as a kind of reminder. In my closet, getting there, but pictures on my phone, I'm not that good. And I looked at my phone, I don't know, 3 hours ago, and I thought, from the last trip with the cruise, there are so many pictures that are double, and sometimes you take 10 pictures of the same scene and want to collect the best. And I still did not have the time, or did not take the time to go back and delete it. But like you shared, at one point the phone will be full, then I have to do it. Or I just download it and put it on a hard drive to save it there or into the cloud, but this gets full as well. Yes. So let's start getting rid of stuff. Make our lives a lighter version, because like one of our mentors used to say, let go and let God. Mm-hmm. This was Wayne Dyer. He always said, let go and let God. Like, give God the responsibility. And I just realized, if I have so much stuff where I think I am my CDs, I am my car, I am my house. No, I am not. Maybe I own this stuff, or sometimes this stuff owns me. If you have a big house or a big garden and you have to work in the house or in the garden every weekend to keep it clean or keep the grass short, The garden owns you. You don't own the garden. It owns you, and you have to take time all the time. But if you want to say, let go and let God, which means if I let God or the universe guide my life, I should be as light as possible, and not light from my weight, but light from all the stuff that I inherited, that I bought, that I have still stuck in the basement or in the attic or wherever, where I just say, it's still good and it was so expensive. It would be like going to a restaurant, and as I live in the south of Germany, we are called the cheap people. I don't know why, but I assume it's true. And I saw so many people that ordered a bottle of wine and they drank a sip and they said, I don't really like it. And now, for obvious reasons, the smartest solution would be then just let it go and drink something else. But the people where I come from would rather drink the wine that they don't like. Why? Because they paid for it.
Yep.
And they suffer for the next hour to drink a full bottle that they don't like because they paid for it. And it's the same with letting go. We often don't let go because we say we bought it, it was so much money, it was so expensive, I cannot just give it away for free, and I don't want to sell it. I don't know how eBay or whatever platform works, so I just keep it. But it just fills your house, it fills your life. You have to walk around it. You have to make way through all the stuff in your house. Just let it go, because the money, like for the bottle of wine, is gone anyway. So why not have fun right after 1 minute and say, now I learned that this bottle for, 50 euros was not worth it. So for next time I know to order a different one, or to skip wine totally and say I will drink still water because that's always good. So it's always a question, where do I want to go and how much baggage do I want to take? And as I realize with the changing times and the changing energies on Earth, the more stuff you have to drag on, what you think you are, what you think you own, what you think you need for the trip, the more you're being slowed down.
Yes.
And you cannot really follow the leader, the highest version of yourself, the universe, God, whatever you want to name it and call it. So make yourself light. And as we all know, traveling goes the best and easiest way if you have a small suitcase. If you don't have 5 big heavy suitcases, just a little hand suitcase with some stuff that you might need for the road, but everything else, just let it go. Let it go.
I love what you were saying, because it reminded me how I'm often judged by, I like expensive candles and stuff. It has to be soya waxed and aromatherapy and certain. But for me, I never enjoy the cheap candles. They just burn. They create lots of black smoke and stuff, and it's got nothing to do with money. This is why I always explain to people. It's like, if you actually pay sometimes for high quality stuff, and it has, again, I know we look at it from a perception that, but that's just too expensive, but don't look at the labels. I remember Bob used to actually say to us, don't look at the labels and just choose what you would love. And if you love high quality stuff, you will be drawn to stuff. I just enjoy every single candle I have in my home because of the smell, because of the purity, because I know it's healthy. And it's really what Norman was saying about the wine. I'd rather have once a month a wine that is high quality, because you smell it, you taste it. And that's what we talked about last week, guys. Find joy in the journey. If you don't enjoy something, don't just do it for the sake of it. Let it go. Just do things. And it doesn't have to be, sometimes people really do compare what's expensive or what isn't. It doesn't have to be about money. I can go to 5-star hotel and I'm having fun. But I'm in tent with kids, which is like 10 times cheaper, maybe 100 times cheaper. And we're in a tent and we're having an absolute blast. So really, you compare the experience you have, the people you have in your life, the people you're doing stuff. Norm, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I talked to a guy who was really successful in a business. He hit a challenge in his life. I won't describe what it is. But he said he packed everything, sold everything, and traveled to India for 3 years. But he said, I was with these masters, the meditators, the gurus, and I thought how sitting down, quieting your mind, and doing a little bit of work, which we consider to be a purely spiritual meditative, He said, it is not it. Because when somebody asks you to actually sell your home and just go and leave and spend time in the middle of jungle and spend there for a year or 2 or 3, how many of us really are ready to say, I'm up for it and really do it? Very little. Very little amount of people would actually say yes. He said to me, what happened to me in 3 years is just I changed my life completely. I changed my thinking completely. I started seeing a real value of life. I connected to God, higher divine power. I started really understanding what life is about. I attracted different kind of people into it. And he said after 3 years, he traveled back into New York. And obviously, he was back into homeland thinking, well, I can't live like this in here because I have to pay for my flat, get my living. And he said, it started with small tasks like, okay, I need to get the flat and I need to get the job to pay for the flat. He said within another 3 years, he was right back where he started. He created another successful business because once you have the ability, you can do it over and over and over. However, he said that pure joy fulfillment, that real true life of absolute satisfaction was gone again. Because once you start twirling in this world, which is almost pushing you, you have to get the job and you have to get the higher ranking and you have to make more money to pay for more comfortable stuff and you like more expensive stuff, you need to earn more. And the rush and drive towards make more creates a less time for you and your friends and family and actually your choice how you spend time. And we all say, oh, I'm free now. This is a good example. 9-to-5 job. It's like, oh, if I only create my own business, I can create the freedom. But then we become 24/7 pretty much. When you're running your own business, you have to be available all the time. And people say, oh, I'm flexible now. Oh yeah, because now I'm flexibly working 7 days a week. But it's true. And this is part of the letting go and decluttering, because it is what Norman started with. Time is the most pressured commodity you have. Money, you always make back. But love and time, it takes time to actually invest your time with people and invest it to do things that you really love and help others and whatever it is you desire, really, it's down to you.
Yes, what an amazing closing statement. I think it cannot get any better. And let's build a bridge to podcast episode number 5, because I think, Vladi, we just stay on the topic and we speak about the magic of time. We speak about living in the now, being present, being decluttered, having a light version of our life and not being addicted to too much stuff. As I mentioned earlier, because usually the stuff has us and we don't have it. And yes, we really hope that you find the time to declutter your life, your thoughts, and for the steps to come, make sure that you don't get rid of, I don't know, 10 pants and 10 shoes and then go shopping and you buy 10 new ones and 10 pairs of shoes. I mean, you can do that, you're free to do that, but it would not declutter anything. It would just change it from A to B or B to C. Yeah. So really see what you need, especially nowadays. The more you declutter, the less you have to worry about losing it. And that's another fear that so many people have. We fear that we lose our job, we lose our clients, we lose our friends, we lose our loved ones, our spouse. We are always afraid that we lose something. But the less you own and have, the less you can lose. So you can have more passion in your life for what life is all about. And this is the now, what's happening in the now. And what prevents you from living in the now, which is the past and the future, we just speak about in the next episode of the Faith Building Podcast. Do you have a last idea or quote or anything to share, Vladi?
I just say, let's really just focus on letting go. Letting go, and I love what actually Norman said. It's let go and let God, because sometimes there are things out of our control. So really just be still and just wait as the one who understands.
Absolutely. Amen, amen, and amen. We see and hear you again in episode number 5 when we speak about the now. Until then, have a safe time. Till then,
See you
bye-bye.
next time.